Getting him back here to play for Nepal. Looks a good player.
The little off spinner. He's a batter, Will Basisto, a batter that bowls occasionally, and he's got himself 6.
You did say earlier that he had been categorized the wrong way, that he was a batter, but he's proven you wrong. Nearly another one.
Well, I don't know if he's proven me wrong. He got player of the match in the last game for his runs, but this is starting to spin now. This pitch dry, and there's turn.
This one's high up in the air. Oh dear. Nearly had his 7th, Will Basisto. Instead, it's going to go all the way for 6.
I just wonder if there was some communication from the man at long on who converged on this catch. He needed to say to Sampal, "You're right by the boundary, you're right by the boundary," because he takes the catch and off he goes.
Calls for catch it again. And it's been put down again. Looked like Dave Karnali in the deep. Would have been an exceptional take.
Are they trying to get out here? This is catching practice for the men in the deep.
Full stretch, full dive. Unable to hold on. Will Basisto. 6 of 28. Could have had 7. 1 delivery away from finishing a spell.
Oh, sorry, different batter. It's not him, it's him. Sorry.
Defended. And that's the end of a very good spell. 6 for 28. Also the end of the 16th. The Avengers 102 for 8. 6 for 28. 12 dot balls in there as well. He's had a great time with the ball, Will Basisto.
Seconds gone.
102 for 8 after 16, and in all sorts of trouble, the Avengers. Just the 8 runs. 8 for 1 so far in the last 4 overs. But the problem is they're 8 down. Where are the runs coming from? At this rate, they get to 128. That's also in the air. It will land safe. He'll stick to just a single.
They've just got the 5 bowlers, the Yaks, by the looks of things, because they've only used the 5, so they go back to seam. Captain brings himself on when spin has been so successful. Will Basisto, 6 for 28 in his 4 overs. Yep, he's on a high now. Should have been 7.
Should have been 7 indeed. Big shout again, and the finger does go up. It's the skipper, Sampal Kami, who joins the action. He picks up his first wicket, and the Avengers are now 9 down.
All the problems happened a long way before this dismissal. That is as simple a decision as you're going to get. Clattering into middle stump, maybe touching leg. And Sampal Kami has the 9th for the Yaks. The Avengers, well, they're almost done here. Won the toss, decided to bat. Will they regret that at 103 for 9?
leg. That's your leg.
All sorts of troubles, the Avengers. Just 1 wicket away from being bowled out. 103 runs on the board. Nearly run out, and he is run out. Shambolic scenes out in the middle, and the Avengers have completely self-destructed. 103 all out, not what they would have had in mind when they chose to have a bat first.
Well, they say cricket's a funny game. It's going to have to be one of the great comedy shows of all time if the Avengers are going to win it from here. 103 all out. The Yaks have created absolute carnage here at the TU. And what about this mix-up? I don't think the throw was the finest, even though it's a direct hit. I think he was trying to throw it to Sompal on the bounce, and it was a little bit full. But you know what? Who cares? The bails are off. The Yaks have bowled out the Avengers.
Shocking from the Avengers today. 103. 16.3 overs have been bowled out, and that batting card is a sorry state of affairs. The Yaks, they are happy, as they should be. Their teams come out and they've performed extremely well with the ball. Thanks to William Basisto, 6 for 28. Can't really say there's going to be any scoreboard pressure when they come out to chase this total.
At the top of the order again, we thought the Avengers were going to have a repeat of the heroics of Corral and Ghost the other day, but it wasn't to be. Both gone in the 20s. Ramon Reefer from the Caribbean promised with his 20, but my oh my did it fall away from then. The introduction of the off-spinner Will Basisto led to that batting failure.
The bowling, tidy from Will Basisto. The best spell we've seen so far. 6 for 28 in his 4 overs, going at just 7 runs and over. But they've all been fairly tidy. Kami picking up a wicket along with Sharma. Zishan Maksud going at just 2.75 runs and over, and he's probably the one that's changed things around, changed the momentum. And Takuri chipping in with his 1 wicket as well, helping to bowl out the opposition, the Avengers, for just 103 runs. Let's take a look at the highlights.
All an unbroken 170 partnership between these two in their previous game, which gave them their first victory, and they got off to a beautiful start again. Young left-hander Corral and the right-hander from the United States, Ghost. That was put down. He's such a strong striker of the ball down the ground, and I think this man might find himself an international
picking up 6 for 28. And they were all fairly similar dismissals. Kept him straight. Some simple catches. This one coming in, knocking that stump back. Michael Leask on that occasion. Then it was Narayan. Finger goes up. And more trouble. Reefer, after a long time out in the middle, he holed out as well. Followed by Chun. And the last wicket to fall, Khatri. Total confusion, and it summed up the batting effort from the Avengers. 103 all out in 16.3 overs. When they come out, the Yaks, they need 104 to win in their 20 overs. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with the chase.
Match day number 8 at this beautiful venue. We're live from the TU International Cricket Ground for the Siddhartha Bank Nepal Premier League, powered by NPL. It's the Yaks against the Avengers. Nearly all set for the second innings. What a remarkable first innings we've seen. 46 for none. A matter of 12.5 overs later became 103 all out. In an old-fashioned collapse you couldn't have imagined. The star of the show, part-time off-spinner, more known for his batting, Will Basisto, 6 for 28, the best figures of the entire tournament thus far. And let's get a look at the 10 wickets. Andrew Leonard here. I've got Darren Goff joining me. That was the big one, that of Andrew's House, who went for 25 off 12. Carell was unlucky, and then simply they fell like a deck of cards.
Well, yeah, it was a Basisto show, wasn't it? Expensive his first over, but he came back so well. He bowled it into the pitch. Some poor shots as well, by the way, shot selection, but mainly turned back into the right-handers, a bit of low bounce, and they just collapsed. The pokhara Avengers, I mean, a real collapse. 50 for 1 they were, 103 all out, and at the end it was just a formality. The seamer comes back on, and then this just topped it off. A run out, direct it, would have been out for a mile, and there the collapse finishes. 103 all out.
Well, Collapso as we look at some snow-tipped mountains in the distance. We had the first snow of the season yesterday, so it was a very chilly start. Beautiful now though, about 18 degrees. Perfect cricketing weather. Wicket apiece for young Unish Thakori. Bipin Sharma again in the wickets, just 16 years of age, found through the talent hunt, name checked by Shikhar Dhawan, and one for Sampal Kami. But the star of the show, the Australian Will Basisto. The target will be 104. What we will do is give you a look at the points table at some point in these first couple of overs, because you sense that this game, it's not quite must-win for the Avengers, but it would end up kind of splitting the points table into two groups if the Yaks, and you'd have to think they're heavy favourites, can chase this down. We did see turn, we saw a few keep a bit low, but don't think it was a track that was only worth 103 runs. Dev Canal will open the batting, and he'll have to have a new opening partner, because Shikhar Dhawan, having really lit up this tournament, has now travelled back to India. He was such a good addition for this competition, he really was. Certainly Shikhar, we loved having him here, and hopefully, just because of as a result of prior commitments, he was only ever available for those first 4 games. He was hugely excited to be here, and hopefully, as we heard from him on air, maybe he'll be back next year, and he'd love to elevate the status of this marquee event to new heights. So let's hope the Shikhar mania will be back. We're all set for the chase. It's going to be left arm spin to open. Bipin Khatri, who's had a good tournament. And it will be Dev Canal, who has that new opening partner of Babar Hayat. He's back into the team. He's not had a good tournament, Darren, so he's going to have to turn things around. But keep your eyes on this young man. There's not too many very tall and very languid and elegant drivers of the ball like Dev Canal. But this one's missed everything. The keeper House holds up his hand in acknowledgement. I think it's going to be buys, and we'll see the first runs of the chase.
Well, I think it's a good choice actually from the Avengers to open with left arm spin. We saw that be the destroyer of the Avengers, and they've started with a spin. Good delivery, and just a misses it. Arm ball basically straight on.
Oh, now how close is this? It's pad first. Canal remonstrates. He says, it's hit my bat. He's still out there. Oh, he could be in trouble here, Dev Canal. The umpire's giving you out. You have to walk off.
Well, he has to go. It looked like it was pad first to me. He's not happy at all. He's got to go. The umpire's giving him out. He's got to go. He's not going to change his mind.
Well, that's not good to see, I have to say. You cannot do that. The umpire's decision is final. Fingers gone up. You've got to walk off whether you like it or whether you don't.
Yeah, it's bad sportsmanship from Dev Canal. He's not happy, but the umpire gives the decision. Again, similar ball, sliding back in the new ball. He could have trapped it, but the umpire's decision, we know, is always final. We taught that from a very, very young kid. And unfortunately for Dev Canal, he has to go. He goes for 0, 0 or 3 balls, and it's 2 for 1.
Surely he's gonna get reported, that man, eh? That's a level 2. Let's see. Get a wicket for Andrew there in the call box, boys!
Well, for the Avengers to have any chance, they needed early wickets. They've got one, but not without a little bit of controversy. Dev Canal could find himself in trouble. We're not sure whether or not, we'll get another look at the replay in a moment, but we're not sure whether or not, could it have been pad first? Was it actually his bat smashing the ball into his pad? Chadwick Walton to the crease, the stylish Jamaican. Let's get another look at the LBW decision.
Here we go. Pitch is on. That's a hard one, isn't it? This is where you need.
I think it is probably bat first. That's why Dev Canal has been so frustrated, isn't it? But as you were saying off air, it doesn't matter. You have to take the decision. You have to walk off. Tough and all as it is, it's part of the game. End of the first. Well, what a start we have. Always drama in cricket in Nepal. It's 2 for 1.
It is on pad, eh? You want center? Come to us, you little bit. That's your center.
You just wonder, could be completely wrong. Are we going to have a bit of a low-scoring thriller here? You just don't sense that this chase is going to be a formality. It's going to be left-arm spin from both ends too.
Not surprising at all the way the pitch has deteriorated during the day. This morning, absolute belter. Play your shots, short boundary. The batters targeted that short boundary, but today, after the power play, the spin has taken over. It's been a different game.
Here's Sagar Dakal, somewhat the understudy to Lalit Rajbanshi in the national side, but known as a very, very good T20 bowler. Both of these two bowlers, Goffey, they're not going to challenge your outside edge. They'll challenge the inside edge, just skidding on.
And this is the perfect pitch for it. There's low bounce, skidding on, not much turn, new ball.
Really good call from Chadwick Walton. Won't get Babur Hyatt off the mark because it's leg buys, but Hyatt's been out of form. Played 2 games, then left out of the team. So some nervy moments out there to start with for the Yaks.
That's covering your leg. Thank you.
Can go one of 2 ways, these low chases, can't it? You can get off to a flyer and start to really squeeze the life and the hope out of the opposition. But if the opposition gets some early wickets, then some panic can set in. We saw the panic in the first innings. Half an appeal, not given as a wide, must have flicked the pad.
Yeah, but as I said, a good move from the Avengers here, opening with 2 left-arm spinners, sliding it into the stumps, going with the arm. Not much spin at this moment in time, but accurate. Chadwick Walton pushes one through on the offside.
Sanjay Gurung just gave a little indication with his left hand, he patted his leg, so what he's saying is that's flick the pad. Not too sure. Good glove work either way by Andries House. Very glad I'm up here and not down there making those umpiring decisions. They're not easy. Did you ever umpire?
I wouldn't be able to concentrate for that long. I think I'd be a shocking umpire.
At least you can admit it.
ADHD, everything. There's no way I'd be able to umpire.
That would be the view for you. Good start from Sagar Dakal. They're coming out nicely. Just the one run off the bat. It's 4 for 1. Pipin Khatri will continue. So many good left-arm spinners in this tournament. It's been difficult to actually identify one, but Khatri, who played Nepal earlier in the year in their inaugural series, has really impressed me. It's a slightly unorthodox action, isn't it?
It is. He comes quite wide on the crease as well, but he just slips it on with the arm. Lovely little bounce he's got, but that's the first one he's managed to turn. He's slid everything into the stumps at the moment.
Is it almost a little bit off the wrong foot? Not quite as pronounced as someone like Sohail Tanvir, but do you see what I'm saying there? Maybe just a tiny bit off the wrong foot?
Yeah, a little bit, but he comes pretty wide. I love the little bounce there. Watch this little bounce. I love this. It's quite springy action. There he goes. He jumps out. That's a lovely bit of action. Stays pretty tall for a left-arm spinner.
You talk about the hands of a clock, don't you, in terms of spin bowling actions and release points. You think of icons like Graham Swan. He was probably at, what, 10:30 or something like that, or 1:30, depending upon which part of the clock. Look at how high his arm is. That's almost midnight, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's got a lovely action. Here we go. Oh, it's going to be a close one. No, he gets home safe. Babad and Walton, a bit unsure whether to take the single there, but they managed to scrape through.
In your coaching, are you happy more to look at output as opposed to the way in which he gets there? Everyone has their own method.
Yeah, it's changed now, hasn't it? From the 80s and 90s, front foot through the gates, and a classical action like mine used to be. But now, as long as you get it down the other end and you take wickets and you get runs, it doesn't matter. These days, I think the Malingas, I've done lots of work in Asia, and since Malinga has come on the scene, I've never seen as many. Everywhere you go around the world now, there's somebody who has a Malinga action. And
there's a growing belief in coaching, correct me if I'm wrong, but that unorthodoxy is a good thing.
Absolutely. You've seen Zaman doing it now in the BBL. Is he playing in Sydney, I think?
Much more like it from Babar Hyatt. He's known as a power hitter, and finally he breaks the shackles. What a first boundary of the chase. It's a Siddhartha Bank 6. Yaks, 13 for 1. That's the schedule for the Yaks. They played 4, started with 2 defeats, but then they bounced back well, haven't they? That win over the Kings was such a crucial one. Kevin O'Brien, Sandeep Lamachani will be devastated still with that result. And this game, Darren, the way that the tournament works, there's 28 group games between the 8 franchise sides. They each play each other once. And then the top 4 go through to an IPL-style playoff. Big advantage if you finish first or second. You get 2 chances to go to the final. If you finish third or fourth, you've got to stay perfect and win all your games to go on to lift the trophy at the grand final on the 21st. The reason I think this is such a big game, if Karnali get this chase done, we're almost going to have a split in the table, aren't we? The top 4 will all have 6 points or more, and then the bottom four will all be stranded on 2 points, and they're going to have it all to do to get into the playoffs.
But the beauty of these tournaments, all the teams are pretty close, right? And in low-scoring games, anything can happen. I've seen that from the competitions I've worked in, I've coached in. You just cannot predict who's going to win.
And in all of them, momentum seems to be a big thing, doesn't it? That if you get on a bit of a winning streak, like even the Lions, I don't think they're out of it. They're going to need some favours. They're going to need to win all three. But if they do, their net run rate's in an okay shape. So even if they squeezed in fourth. Bowled him! Bowled him, bowled him, bowled him! Oh, that's brilliant from Sagar Dakal. Full, straight, and straight through.
Absolutely. Class bowling here from the Avengers. Under pressure, hardly anything on the board. Defending 103. And the two left-arm spinners have started beautifully. Again, no spin, straight on with the arm. Foolish delivery, slogging across the line. He might have 100 on the back, but no 100 today. He's gone. A sad walk back to the pavilion. The Avengers are on fire. And there it goes. Baba Hayat goes for 7 from just 10 deliveries. And it's 14 for 2.
We did say, we just had a feeling that maybe this target, only 104 to win, might prove to be a tricky one. It's a pitch that seems to be wearing and turning, and already there's a few nervy Yaks fans up in the crowd as Gulshan Jah, the young superstar, comes to the crease. Darren, this young man, was attempted to be drafted by all 8 of the franchise sides. They all bid the maximum for him, and then it went into lucky dip, and the Yaks have got lucky. He's a superb young talent, great all-rounder.
A lucky dip.
Yeah, that was the way it worked. But this year won, and he was the most in demand. Could have been an iconic player, but didn't. End of the fourth, 14 for 2. Could be a trial by spin here for the Yaks to join that group of teams on 6 points in the table. Not going to be easy. Gulshan Jah will have a big role to play, the teenager, as more spin is going to come into the attack now. It's the Scottish all-rounder Michael Leask, who bowls more than handy off breaks. He took a long time to trudge off after he was bowled, and it's rare you'd keep the Scottish all-rounder out of the game entirely. He'll be looking to make amends for that duck. And I think because the left-handed Jazz at the crease, they've got the off-spinner in now. But Chadwick Walton's going to take him on and get a boundary to start with.
Well, it's a good start. And that's what you do. New bowler coming to the attack. They've got off to a good start here, the Avengers. A couple of early wickets. But Chadwick Walton has decided off-spinner comes on. Spin it back into the bat. Stay still, head down. Beautiful shot over the top for one bounce, and runs away for a